Welcome everyone to the Not Just Nursing Show. We have another amazing episode to share with you all today. It's always wonderful to celebrate the lives of nurses who do so much more than bedside nursing. So let's see, we have powwow with an author, we've gotten fashion tips, and we've also learned how to overcome insurmountable odds. Today, we bring on another guest who hails from the mighty state of New York, that empire state of mine. We're going to talk to a nurse who has taken the ranks of nursing on at a very young age. In high school, I might add, she started off as a CNA, she graduated and became an LPN, and then she furthered her nursing career into her RN degree and then her master's degree. We are so excited to talk to Nurse Julia. She is a nursepreneur. She's an author. There's just so much more I can say about Julia, but we're going to bring her onto the show. She is joining us by phone. Welcome, Nurse Julia, nursepreneur Julia Akinyooye, to the Not Just Nursing Show. Julia, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. So I just wanted to first just talk about your wonderful healthcare experience. I think you mentioned that it's 15 years of experience as a nurse, and you started out so young, high school. Tell me about that. That's amazing.
Well, thank you, first of all. So I started in high school. I guess I would have to say that it was from a push from my guidance counselor and my mother,
okay,
also a nurse, retired nurse. And, between the two of them, really, they kind of, pushed me forward to nursing. I remember a story when I was about, I would say 10 years old. I had went, totally not legit illegal, but I had went to my mother's job. She worked nights at a nursing home. And, you couldn't do this now, but, back then, she kind of snuck me in and kind of showed me the ropes. It's kind of like take your daughter to work at night.
Oh, okay.
And I actually got to, see her in a different light, from, mommy being, at home and, seeing her at work. The patient had great things to say about her. And I really kind of just seeing her in a different perspective and decided that, I wanted to be that person who would be caring for people. And I wanted them to be able to say good things about me as well. So I think she kind of stirred it up to begin with.
I think that's wonderful that you had that opportunity to actually go into a nursing setting and be able to see your mom, at work and actually see yourself, in her shoes and say, hey, one day I can do this. I know I didn't have that as experience that pushed me into the nursing field, but I think it's wonderful to hear the different aspects of our guests and how they got involved in nursing. Like I said, at such a young age to get your CNA certification and then to go into LPN as a senior in high school and graduation. Was there anything that while you were going with your mom to do the observation and just seeing how things work in a nursing setting, was there anything that pushed you further, like you saw your mom in a different light, but what kind of made you say, well, instead of just being a CNA, let me go on to get my LPN? What kind of encouraged you to, kind of push past that?
Sure. Okay, so pretty much, I'll just give you a little background about me specifically, and if you know a Nigerian, we kind of have the same, stories. Our parents are really, they kind of impact us in different ways, and, a lot of us are just really obedient to them, and all for good things, and, pretty much it's not an option in my family really not to go to school, or even to kind of to stop at where, say for instance, an associate degree, it wasn't an option for them to stop at associate degree. You really had to go on top. Most of my family members are in professional areas, and it was kind of like no choice. And I had to go. But, it wasn't only that. It was really, I kind of watched the trends in nursing, and I kind of was able to see that, I think then the RN associates was being kind of phased out, they said, and the LVN. So they was kind of, in school, kind of geared us towards doing a higher degree, just because they, fear of kind of singling LVNs out or RN associates out or bachelors. And so I kind of just wanted to get it over with and just kind of go straight through and make sure I had what I needed.
Right, right. I totally understand what you're saying. I had a similar option as well with the associates, and I already have a bachelor's degree, and basically I just wanted to, and we'll talk about me at another date and time, but just wanted to see where I could, kind of jump in and get my qualifications and be of service and, do a lot of the things, a passion that I have inside, such as this show. So I'm really encouraged by just knowing, like you said, from a cultural standpoint, it was not an option to not be progressive and go to the highest, the goal that you could possibly set for yourself. So that makes me think about after your RN BSN degree, moving right into your master's. And at that point you were working, so kind of tell us about some of the areas of specialty that you worked in, and then what helped you to transition into getting your master's.
Okay, so with the specialty, it was confrontational before, because I had a lot of people around me saying, nurses are supposed to work in a hospital. That's what they do. They work in a hospital.
Wow.
We don't really count nurses if they're doing something else besides hospital work. But I kind of knew from undergrad that community health nursing, public health nursing really kind of impacted me. I went to school upstate in Syracuse University, and I got to see areas that I've never experienced before, rural areas, patients really just kind of not even accessible. You couldn't really get to them. There was just, even physically, some of the patients didn't have water, or they had water tanks. They lived in a different way that I was ever used to seeing, especially growing up, in New York City. But that kind of, shocked me. And I felt that the nurses that did the rotations with us at that time, they were really needed and wanted. And so that's when I said, okay, definitely I want something that is a little bit slower paced, where it's a little flexible with the hours, and it's also making a great impact. So I pretty much, knew in my heart that, okay, definitely I'll be going to community health nursing. But, as you get mentored and people, talk to you and you make the decisions, I thought it was best to get, a couple of years of med-surg, tele experience. And but I knew that wasn't going to last so long. So I knew that I was going to go into home care. And that's pretty much how, my specialty that I've been doing over the last several years.
Right. You said something that was very important. You talked about being in those pretty much impoverished areas, and therefore the patients really needing the nurse and really appreciating, the nurse and the care that was provided. So I know a lot of times nurses get taken for granted, especially in regular hospital settings. And so it feels good to know that there are populations of people who are impoverished, and they can say, this nurse is really taking her time. She has to drive and come and see me, or what have you, and really make an impact on their health and their well-being. So that's wonderful to know that is still present in today's time. And
absolutely.
Exactly. And that being said, we get into our own challenges as nurses. I know that you've gone through just a wonderful, and I say wonderful because I think challenges are wonderful experiences. At the end of them, of course, you look back and you say, if this had not happened, then I wouldn't be who I am today. So that makes me think about challenges that you may have encountered along your experience in nursing and or your educational path. Just what would you say would be the most challenging situation that you came across as a nurse, and then how did you overcome it?
Okay, so as a nurse, I would say really the politics behind nursing, which I despise. I can't stand, when you're supposed to be taking care of people, they really need you, and it's more of a game of either, money or, they're just a number. That really annoys me. And, I've had to see different politics in, especially being a director of nursing, that, I couldn't really do much about it because I'm not the sole owner of the entity. And, you obviously want to make sure that your license is intact. You're not doing anything that you shouldn't do or you don't want to do. So having to deal professionally with, business, the business aspect of nursing, it really was challenging. I had to kind of, I really had to make a decision as if I wanted to be part of it. And of course, you're getting paid to do a job, or, you're getting paid to help people, but at the same time, it's your what can I call it? It's your ethics that's actually worrying you. So
Right.
I had to go do. I think that's the biggest challenge. I can't say that I'm not perfect, but I am very ethical in the sense that it really weighs down on me if I know something's not being done the way it's supposed to be, and that's how I've kind of always been. So when I see that, it's difficult for me to actually respond to it, and respond to it in an appropriate way, and not in a nasty, condescending way, or allow them to see that, this way of doing it is the best way, or the right way, or the most ethical way. Let's try it this way. So having to communicate with people in like higher positions and things like that, and letting them understand that this is me, this is my perspective, this is nursing, as opposed to it just being a business. I think that really was a big challenge.
Right, and I think nurses in general, when you have that compassion and you really just want to help people, it is sort of a struggle internally when you're working for an organization that sure, they have the nursing staff to care for the patients, but then there is that other piece that we have to internally war against, as far as politics, as you mentioned. And you also mentioned something that I really want our guests to hear is that you actually became the nursing director of patient services in New York City.
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. And I just think that it's wonderful when I hear about my colleagues just taking nursing to the next level, taking it as far as it can go, and then being able to say, you know what, now I'm going to take on the next experience that nursing can offer. So congratulations to you on getting to that management rank. Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's fantastic. And when you were doing your med-surg tele and you went on to gain other experiences, was there anything that you thought of internally that said, you know what, if I get to a higher level or higher executive rank, I can make more of an impact? Or what inspired you to apply and then be able to be the director of nursing?
I would say really, you're kind of working, when you work as a nurse, especially in the hospital, or in, when I was doing kind of case management in the office, you're really doing kind of the same things over and over. And I'm a person that I don't like to be programmed. I like to be effective, but do different things.
Right.
And so then I realized that, just doing the skills portion of it is not really making me happy.
Exactly.
And, really, I mean, it's good for some people who, you have to have people that want to do that. That's just it. But you also have people that actually want to, do something else that in terms of like leadership. So I decided that I would try it out. I did get pushed back. You can't get into a management position because you don't have X amount of years. But that was out the window. I kind of always been a person to continue on. When someone kind of tells you that things can't be done, I'm the person that's, okay, they can't be done. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to pray about it. Right. And, I know in my heart God wants me to do it this way. And so when it happens, I like to tell people about it because, I was there with them when, people saying, okay, well, you need this, you need that, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. So it's really important for me to share that aspect of it because there are a lot of nurses who, get eaten up or feel that, that I don't think I can do such. It's really what you put your mind to. And it's really, you just have to kind of stay strong and pave your own way.
Absolutely, and that's fortifying to myself as well as I'm sure of the viewers who are watching. In anything that we put our hands forth to do, is to make sure that we make our own way and that we perceive so-called limitations as fuel and take that in and say, you know what, I hear what you're saying and that's based on your viewpoint and your experience, but I'm not you. I have something inside me that's different, and this is my calling. It's that ownership where you say, I'm going to be the solution. And it brings me back to what I was saying about having a show such as this one, is saying, we don't celebrate nurses enough. And we need to do that. And we do so much more than bedside nursing. So that's why, that's why I said, this is a great avenue to just showcase wonderful people such as yourself, and it's just so inspiring. So we are going to take, you're so welcome. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after a word from our sponsors. My name is Cara Sevier, and I am a registered nurse. With over 12 years experience in the nursing field, I have had my fair share of long, grueling 12-hour day and night shifts. I have experienced what all nurses wish they had more of: energy. A year ago, I began to think about how this issue could be solved. I thought that the solution should be something that was easy to use, easy to carry, and would have little to no side effects when used in conjunction with other energy-enhancing supplements. 7 months and multiple ingredient trials later, the AM/PM Shift Energizing Spray made its debut. It contains natural ingredients as well as anti-aging and skin healing properties. Take control of your day with the AM/PM Shift Energizing Spray. Welcome back to the Not Just Nursing Show. We are speaking with our guest, nursepreneur Julia Akinyooye. How are you again?
I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful. I just enjoy, as we were talking on our commercial break, enjoy speaking with like-minded individuals who just share this positive energy. It's really fueling, when you're on the same path and you're actually colleagues. So I just want to thank you for your wonderful energy.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So we talked about your nursing career. You started really just from the very beginning as a CNA and just climbed the ranks, got your education, and even stepped up to executive ranks and became the nursing director for patient services of New York City. But at some point along the way, you got bit by the entrepreneur bug, and I want to talk about that.
Sure. So with the entrepreneur bug, as you call it, really, I didn't know I had it until, I would say, while I was working as a nurse, maybe the first couple of years. I just kind of knew that I couldn't work, in the hospital. And I kind of, that's the honest truth. Like, it wasn't me. So people look down upon that. You're not a real nurse, and you get all these, things, people say these things. But, nursing is, you can do different things to be effective. You don't have to actually, work in the hospital for you to be a nurse or be effective.
Absolutely.
And so when I felt that I, wasn't no longer interested in working in the hospital, I actually met someone when I transitioned into home care, and she had a great impact on me. She kind of told me, the ins and outs of kind of home care, health care. She actually was in management at the time, and we had orientation together to go over like general policies of the company we were working at. And she was kind of breaking it down for me in terms of, this is how much they're making at this company, and this is how much they're paying us. And I was really, really shocked at the fact that we get paid just a penny from what the actual profit is from, these companies. And we actually do the work. We actually are the ones that is really, working hard and kind of busting our behinds, and keeping our license, and making sure we're doing things right, and we get this little bitty, money. And so I felt, that definitely by all means, in order to get more from what I was doing, I would need to be in management. And so, after she kind of mentored me, I kind of, got the confidence. I remember specifically, I was going on to an interview for a higher level position, and I was so scared and nervous. And, she coached me, and she said, okay, you're going to ask for $120,000. I was like, what? Are you crazy? 101? Me? I'm only 26 years old. And it was like, there's no way. And she talked me into it. And when I said it, I couldn't believe I said it. And when they said, okay, I said, okay.
You're like,
I was so excited. I was so excited. And, I was like, wow. And since then, I've always marketed myself. I kind of end up coaching people. It doesn't have to be nurses, but just people, my friends and family, and say, you have to, make yourself, presentable, one, but you also have to market yourself when you're in an interview and negotiate your salary. Because the money is there, but you just have to allow them to know that you're the candidate for the position, this is what you can offer, and stand your ground, and you'll be surprised on what can be offered just for you. It's not for everyone else, but just for you. If you wanted to negotiate loan repayment, that's not impossible. these things can be done, and they are done. And, I really want people to know that, because they think, okay, I'm going to accept a certain salary because this is what they said that they're, that they can pay you. But when you get down to the table, you have to have those business kind of strategies to market yourself to get what you really want. And it's not only money. It can be benefits. It can be time off. It can be anything.
Right. I thank you so much for sharing that, and especially sharing and being candid about the amount of money that you asked for, for that particular situation. A lot of individuals just really need to hear that. Numbers, how they say, it's one thing to just give a general example, but when you put a number out there like that, it makes it possible. Like, you know what? Wow, I can actually do that one day. I can set my goal and state my intention and actually ask for what I feel I'm worth. And I like how you said it. Sometimes it could be negotiation of like loan repayment. For nurses, there's just so much, and not so much that other fields don't, owe a lot with loans and things like that. But you have your RN degree, and then you have your master's, and then on to the PhD level. So there's a lot of money that we have to pay back, and it's really neat to and it's really neat to have that. Sitting in the back of our mind and saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this or ask for this amount as a salary, but also let's also talk about repayment of chunks of money on those loans. So thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you for being available to your family and clients, and sharing that same information is really important.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, it definitely, it's not all about the money, but at the same time, I mean, if you're working hard, you do need to get compensated. Yes. And people have to know, pretty much that nursing is very marketable. Obviously, we know that from being able to get jobs very, very quickly. But you do have to own it, and you do have to actually be worth the amount that you're asking for. Exactly. And I say that with all respect, but if you're not a consistent person, and you don't, you can't strive and research and get to the next level and willing to work hours and build, then you really have no real reason to ask for, in your soul, you should know that, okay, I deserve it because I'm working for it, not just because I'm just throwing a number out there because I want to get paid six figures,
Exactly. And let me just throw it out there and see if it sticks and see what happens, right? It actually has to come from a place of feeling that value, like, hey, this is what I provide to this organization, so this is what it's going to cost. So that's wonderful, and thank you for sharing that. So you're so welcome. So it brings me to the topic of moving from the management position. As you said, you knew that in order to get to the next level in your career, you had to move up to management. Tell us about that transition, though, into owning your own individual business and what that experience was like with that transition.
Okay, yeah, so actually it was pretty rough because, to be honest, family and people in general kind of, asked, why would you want to, try to go into business or entrepreneurship if, you're getting paid so well, as they call it. And, I had to look at myself like, okay, is something wrong with me? Why do I want to come out of it if I'm, kind of, getting what people say they want? And then I had to actually decide that it's not about the money. Obviously, you get offered different amounts of money, and that's not going to satisfy. That's not going to quench. That's how I knew that it was more of entrepreneurship that I wanted to kind of go into. So I had to deal kind of like with self-struggle to make sure that it was really what I wanted. And then obviously the unknown of how it will go is always concerning. So you're worried that did I make the right decision, or are people right? People have a lot of influence, more than others think, over making decisions for you. I think that's where people get stuck. And you just have to be sure. And even if you're not sure, I think that you go with it and you see what happens. And thank God we're in nursing. So if anything, you can always pretty much, God willing, get a position where you can still take care of yourself and your family. So
exactly.
It was rough knowing the unknown, but definitely by all means, now looking back at it, I wish I would have probably done it sooner.
Right. Right. And kind of getting through that initial, like you said, having to deal with yourself and your own anxieties or questioning of yourself, like, hey, am I doing the right thing? Are they right? So I congratulate you on making that choice and taking that leap. I think just as myself, it is something to endure. And like you said, having that inner circle sometimes kind of looking at you sideways like, what was that? Why did you do that? So, but I know now you're much happier. So I think that is just so rewarding. So Julia, how many businesses do you own?
So I actually own two. One is Emmanuel Consulting Agency, which is a home care consulting firm.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have a second one. It's called Jewels of Africa Boutique, which is totally out of the scope of nursing.
That's quite all right.
But that's yes. And so that was more of something that I kind of just wanted to do, more or less, something that was kind of fun out of nursing, kind of get the edge off, not serious, something that, can inspire people, make people happy. Obviously, women in clothes, make us happy.
Right.
So that's pretty much a fun kind of business that I have. That's actually not my main business.
Okay.
But yes, Emmanuel Consulting is my love, my baby. This is what I do for a living every single day.
I think that is so fantastic. And the other business, say the name of that again. I think you said Jewels.
The name is Emmanuel Consulting Agency, Inc.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And
it's
then
actually named after my son.
Okay. And thank you, because I was going to ask. I said it has to be someone very special to her, to call the first name Emmanuel. So I think that's fantastic. And your other business, Julia, say the name of that one again.
Jewels of Africa Boutique.
Jewels of Africa Boutique. So it's apparel and accessories and things of that nature?
Yes, it is. Yes, exactly. It's African-inspired accessories and clothing. And so, obviously, my background is Nigerian, so that's where that came from. And my name is Julia, and my nickname is Jules, so we kind of put that all together.
Right. I think that's fantastic. What tribe are you from?
Yoruba tribe.
Yoruba. Okay, that's awesome. So we're going to be in contact. Thank you. We're going to be in contact about the boutique because I love clothes, and we're going to talk about that because I'd like to wear some of your designs on the show. So we'll definitely, yeah. So if you want to just kind of think in advance about some things that you want to show, like the latest style, and who knows, maybe we'll have a fashion show on the Not Just Nursing show. We're going to be doing just whatever we want to do.
You're always trending, so I do peep your clothes, just so you know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely. That's something that I really want to get more into. Is just picking up the fashion and just doing whatever I want to do with that, because I do love fashion design as well. So we'll definitely be in touch about that. I think it's just fantastic. You mentioned something about mentoring. I think on our previous, before our previous commercial break, I'm just talking to other individuals and mentoring them. I think that is really outstanding. Do you have like a consulting component of Emmanuel? I know it's Emmanuel Consulting, but is there a consultation where you just do motivation or serve as a mentor? What aspect of Emmanuel Consulting kind of serves as a mentor?
So we have a few different programs. So one of the things that we do in relation to home care, we have a home care consulting, a coaching program rather, that happens on a monthly basis, and it's actually like a group coaching where you can start and operate your own home care business.
Perfect.
And then we do have coaching and consulting that's like on a one-on-one basis, and that is something that it's all related to home care. But then I do have success coaching, which I do kind of privately, and that's more geared toward any person who's interested in entrepreneurship or just kind of leading life, whatever they want, their own personal success. Right. And that's something I've started of recent within the last, I would say 8 months that I've been kind of serving as a mentor. It kind of happened accidentally. But yes. Well, it's only because my nature is just teaching in general. That's how I got the master's in nursing education. Right. But with my family and my friends, I'm literally always coaching someone about something, and so people now ask me, they see the things that I kind of do with myself and different things, and they kind of ask me, hey, they ask me, can you mentor me? So then it became something, okay, I'll offer one-on-one mentoring for people. Obviously, if you're a student, the rates are totally different because you're in school, as opposed to someone who already has a career and maybe wants to dive into something else, or maybe not personally satisfied. It could be, having hard trouble being a mom and trying to balance work and life,
right,
and things like that. So there's different things that I do and how I mentor people one-on-one.
Yes, I perfectly understand that, and I love how you have it separated. One aspect of it, get more towards nursing and owning your own business with home nursing, home care, and then for basically the other individuals who just want to be entrepreneurs. So I think that's fantastic. I think your niche is perfectly aligned. So Julia, you are an author, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Please tell us about your book and give us a brief synopsis and where we can purchase your book.
Oh, okay. So with the book, it is actually an ebook, and you can get it on Amazon. Okay. It's called 20 Ways for Moms to Get Work-Life Balance. And pretty much, as I was working at, as a nurse and kind of, all the positions I was in, I did have a rough time kind of balancing work and life. And so that's what kind of made me create the book, because a lot of people around me was having the same issues. And I kind of learned to, not to adapt to those issues, but to find strength and find ways to help me balance work and life. So the book is pretty much a step-by-step approach to organizing your life, kind of simplifying it, whether it's like duties in the home or outside the home things you have to take care of, or if you would like to own your own business, incorporating that into your work life. It's really catered to moms or any business person or busy person who doesn't have a lot of time and who wants more out of life. They want to be satisfied in the way that they're not right now. And that's all about personal success, not about money. It's more about, whatever goal that you want to achieve. It could be, I want to own a cooking show. It could be anything, just getting to that point. I think people have a rough time. They imagine themselves in places, but at the same time, especially with work and life itself, it's very challenging to actually, like how, you've been very active and you've been doing all these great things. I'm sure you can also agree that if you don't kind of put yourself on a schedule and if you don't simplify your life, it's hard to actually, make these things come to pass. So the book is really just kind of giving you a synopsis of how to make your life easier and how to, on a step-by-step basis, how to achieve your goals in a nutshell.
Wonderful. And I love the fact that it is so conveniently on Amazon and as well as being an ebook. So we can have it on our phones and read it in between breaks or any other device. So that's wonderful. That's so wonderful.
It's actually free on Kindle, so that's good.
Oh, perfect. Many options, just like I like many options. So success is such a multi-dimensional word. How would you define success?
Really, just being happy and happy most of the time. Obviously, you can't be happy 100%, but being happy and fulfilled in what you want to achieve. I mentioned, people have different takes on what they want in life, and so as long as I think you're achieving those things, it can be small, it can be big, it can be whatever it is. Actually achieving them, I think, is what happiness is. I think we all want to better ourselves and to get to somewhere. So I think just happiness, just in general, achieving those goals and having a balance in your work, in your life.
Absolutely. And it makes me think about you as an individual, Julia. What inspires you for you? Like, what just gets you going and motivated during the day? What inspires Julia?
I think it's the hard work. I think it's the hard work and knowing that, pleasure comes after that. When you work hard, you try to reward yourself with great things. And definitely I would say, God's word is something that inspires me. Only because I've been through, difficult situations personally that I've come to realize and how I've matured is, people will always disappoint. People will always make mistakes. People will always offend, even if it's consciously or unconsciously. I mean, we're all human beings. We were not perfect. And I think it's important to know that, and important to also take God's word and believe that there is something else. There is something else much, is much better and much more beautiful than what we have now. And I also believe that He is the only one that can ultimately make us happy. If you count on human beings, we just make mistakes over and over. So I really feel that God is the one that can inspire me to do all this.
And thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing your inspiration. What advice would you give a nurse who wants to start their own business, but they have no idea where to begin?
I would also say that, with nurses, we have to do our own research, at least to know where we want to be or what kind of steps we have to take, the basic research. But I would say if you have a hard time, definitely hire a coach or someone that can help you, or even if it's a person in the community. People are shy nowadays. They don't want to ask for mentors. I mean, I have mentors that I don't pay for. They just became mentors because, we have like minds and they see that they can be of assistance to me. So I have mentors that I speak with about different things. Definitely think having a mentor in some form is important for you to get to the next level. And, having a support group with people who are in the same field or same line of business, because they're the ones that are going to understand some of the things that you encounter as you go along.
Right. I think that's really important. No matter how successful, I'll use that word, that we become, I do think it's important that you have a supportive mentorship relationship. And it comes in different forms, but to have that person that you can learn things from and be able to consult and talk and get insight to further our inner and outer growth. So I think that's really, really important. If you could share something with our viewers about yourself that we don't know, what would that be? What would you want us to know about you?
I would want you to know that pretty much. Everyone goes through struggles. I want to make sure everyone knows that things are not always rosy or things haven't been rosy. It's really just about perseverance. I was a single mom. Mm-hmm. And I went through school, I went through my master's program with being single and having to take care of my son. Mm-hmm. I didn't have much support in terms of business. No one in my family has done business. It's more just, doctors, lawyers, and just kind of working a job or working shifts. Mm-hmm. I've been through, some hefty things when it comes to relationships, unhealthy relationships and divorce and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately, like you said earlier, these things make you stronger. Yes. And, it's what you take it. If you want to be in a position where you can, grow your own business or you can do something exceptional, then you'll do it. But if you are in a mindset that, I can't do it because this happens to me, you're making excuses, then that's where you're going to stay.
Exactly.
So I'm always the person to let people know that, even now, things are never perfect, so you do have to push through each and every time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Julia, you have so much information to share, and I would like for all of our viewers to know how to find you online as well as social media.
Oh, thanks. Okay, sure. So, with the Humana Consulting Home Care Consulting Firm, you can find me with the website www.consultwithanurse.com. We're also on Instagram at Home Care Consultant. And we have a Facebook group called Home Care Entrepreneurs. So you can always ask to be requested if you choose to. And then for success coaching, like the one-on-one coaching, aside from the actual home care, it's Coach Jules, and that's on Instagram. So it's Coach and then JEWELZ.
Perfect.
So those are the apps you can find me on. For the Jewels of Africa Boutique, I also have a Facebook page as well. Mm-hmm. So you can always like the page and get updates as well.
Perfect. Well, Julia, we have enjoyed you so much. Thank you for sharing such a host of information. And we love your businesses, the consulting aspect of it, and understanding that your original gift is teaching and realizing that it doesn't have to be in a classroom. It can be whatever you decide it should be, whatever fits you, whatever your energy is projecting for it to be. So I'm glad that most people don't know that. A lot of times you can kind of condense what your gifts are by just basic ways that you can express yourself. Like if someone knows they're a teacher, someone knows they're an administrator, you don't have to be in concrete walls. You don't have to be confined with what previously was defined as a teacher or, an administrator. So congratulations to you in knowing, who you are and just setting those goals and reaching them. We've certainly enjoyed you today. We look forward to hearing from you and being updated on events and other things that you will accomplish in the future. So stay connected with us, Julia, and thank you so much for being a guest on the Not Just Nursing Show.
Thank you. Thank you for creating such a powerful, creative platform. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored, and again, thank you for being a guest on our show.